weren't cell phones then.
Yeah,
No, there
Was no internet then.
So much
there was
easier
no.
nowadays.
There was the odd
A
email.
computer was bigger than
A room.
that.
Yeah, we're on
truck.
Jonathan is here. He has a YouTube channel now. You can check it out. It's called John's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
You gotta get on there and like it.
He just opened it. So now he's filming everything. He made me filming this.
Just get on there and like it.
Yeah, give me likes and subscriptions.
Everybody
A
got
motivational
this?
coach?
Floyd Auditorium,
We can have
1 King's College
multi-conversations.
Circle.
Popular or not, everything in AI is infantile right now. It's in its infancy.
Well, Deepak Chopra says it's here to stay.
Yeah,
it's not
it is.
going away.
He's 100% right.
Yeah.
Don't get afraid of it.
That's right.
Just accept that it's the new way of things.
Did you see that with those, what are they called? Lord, what's that guy that with those driverless cars?
Yeah, self-driving cars.
Driverless cars.
Yeah.
There's been 2 fatal collisions with driverless
Yeah, they're
Yes,
not perfected yet.
100%. How many
Fatal
accidents
collisions,
have
yeah.
happened over the history of humanity driving?
Yeah, lots.
Tons. People crash all the time. I've done a ton of research on self-driving cars, and there are edge cases and like really rare images that you don't see very often on the road. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen very often. One of the issues was a bike on the back of a car. It's pretty rare, but it's like, how does a car know that that's like a bike that's not driving?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Like mounted like that tire.
yeah, it's like a rare problem, but like stuff like that,
because of
everything
that?
can be fixed after time. But this is just one example. No, it's in its infancy, like I've said. People are told that they should be completely aware of the self-driving cars. You're not supposed to just let it drive. You're not supposed to fall asleep.
You're supposed to oversee it.
Yeah, people fall asleep at night, and like these things are not that good at night. It's like we're okay. We have some cool technology that's up and coming. You're basically, your car is a self-driving baby toddler, and then people are like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna let it just drive me to work.
Let's see what it tells us.
You excited for this lecture, Dave? Looking forward to it? I'll look at another lecture.
We have a panel discussion featuring 4 scientists whom you can see talking about artificial intelligence in healthcare. So I'm going to briefly introduce them. They are educators, they are researchers, they are humanitarians a lot of the time, innovators. Ahmed Mamdani, can you raise your hand, is the director of the Li Keqing Center for Healthcare Analytics Research and Training at St. Michael's Hospital, professor at the Faculty of Medicine, and Faculty of Pharmacy, and also the Institute of Health Policy Management and Evaluation at the Dalalana School of Public Health. Pascal Terrell is the Chief Scientific Officer of ACE Age Inc., very much aligned to our previous discussion for who was there. And improved, he is the Director of Data Science and an Assistant Professor in the Department of Medical Imaging in the Faculty of Medicine. Anna Goldenberg is the Senior Scientist of the Genetics and Genome Biology Program at Sick Kids Research Institute. She's also Associate Research Director for Health at the Vector Institute for Artificial Intelligence. And Felipe Morgado is the co-founder of AI in Medicine Student Society at the University of Toronto. He's currently an MD PhD student at the Faculty of Medicine. These 4 researchers from across the disciplines and specialties at U of T Medicine and the University of Toronto have come to discuss the many ways artificial intelligence is changing the field of healthcare. So as if the star lineup was not enough, we are also joined tonight by Ivan Semenyak, who is the science reporter in the Globe and Mail.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here tonight and wonderful to be with this terrific panel. So the topic this evening is AI, the future of healthcare, ? So let's fast forward into the heart of the matter. If you're like me, so artificial intelligence has been revolutionized in the last 10 years, no question about it. If you're like me, you may have started your exposure to computer programming or computer science with a key punch machine. You might have hit those key punches. Each little card that was punched with the key punch machine would represent one step in a computer program. And each step would be like this basic instruction that you would give a computer. Do this, then do this, do this. If you see this, then do this. If you see this, then do this. Each step thought through ahead of time by a human mind, by a human programmer, and then hopefully executed faithfully by the computer unless there was an error, and then you'd have to start all over again, or if this person dropped their cards all over the place, then you'd have to, oh no. So it was the human mind that was the architect, and then the computer slavishly followed the commands. Artificial intelligence is different, especially the kind of artificial intelligence we're talking about tonight, which has really been fueled by neural networks and deep learning. In that situation, you don't have a step-by-step program. Instead, you have something called a neural network with little nodes. And those nodes may do very simple things. They might be able to tell the difference between a pixel that's light or dark. And then they might feed that information to other nodes that might be able to tell the difference between a straight line and a curved line, and so on and so on. And these nodes kind of talk to each other and assemble information. And the end result might be that you can show them kind of a squiggle, and at the end result they can tell you, is that an 8 or a 9? Artificial intelligence in a health science or healthcare context, let's talk about first where it's not appropriate to have that conversation. Where does it not make sense to be talking about AI and health science, because we are hearing about it everywhere?
I work at a hospital, St. Michael's Hospital, and we hired a bunch of data scientists. And the approach we took was a little bit different than most. We combined different streams of data science. So we have engineers, we have statisticians, we have computer scientists, and we have a whole lot of data to work with at the hospital. And what we've learned very painfully is if you don't have the right type of data, or the quality of data isn't there, no model's going to help you. It's not going to work. So our number one rule is, if the data don't exist to enable a good model, it's probably not worth doing that model. You're going to cause more harm than good.
And what is, when we think of quality of data, what does that mean? What is good quality data?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of people would say that you judge the quality of data, and it's also the amount of data too, and especially with these data-hungry neural networks, for example. But a lot of people judge the quality of data based on what a gold standard would say. So, for example, if you're a patient and you tell me that my temperature's high, but in my record it says your temperature's pretty normal, and if I measure you with a thermometer, it actually says you're pretty normal, who am I going to believe? There's got to be a gold standard somewhere. So sometimes what happens is, when you actually take the gold standard of looking at, let's say, a diagnosis of a patient, I'll give you another example. If you look at mental health conditions, if you look at the diagnosis of depression, it's very, very poorly coded. So in a lot of medical records, if you say, I'm going to look at my data and see what the prevalence of depression is, I can almost guarantee you'll be underreporting, because a lot of people don't report it. And also, a lot of people don't measure it. So if you run a model to look at a condition that isn't even recorded very well, the model's not going to be accurate.
I mean, I'd have to say I would always consider it. AI or machine learning is a methodology, it's an approach to solving problems, and it's a tool in your toolbox. you just need to determine if it's the right tool for the job. And I think that's the challenge of today, is determining when to apply it and how to apply it. Because often it's kind of like when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. When it's not appropriate, I think it's a little bit just like asking for, when you do analysis of any data, when is certain methodology appropriate or not. It's difficult to say exactly when it would not be appropriate.
Sure.
It really is data dependent, and it also is, depending on the problem, it's going to be the computational capacity of what you're working with. And I think that's the challenge of today, and you alluded to that. Why today is AI and machine learning so big? And I can give kind of a little bit of a cute example here. So who here plays chess?